how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Have You Seen This? Podcast about everything television. And basically, me and my co host, Snark, we're going to sit here, chat about a bunch of different television things. Usually, we get into the news, but not much news in the past week. So, this is also our last episode of season one. We'll be back very shortly, but how you feeling, Snark?
I'm feeling good. So I am fully expecting, since it's our season finale, a bit of a montage going through some of the great times we've had. Sorry, we're not getting a montage, Daniel. This is fucking
I
bullshit.
actually, I'm hearing in my ear that we just don't have great moments.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Well, they
Like they
tried.
they tried. Yeah, they tried. They just couldn't find great moments.
Oh, jeez.
Like
Wow.
unless you want a montage of all the times Dave has fired me, like I
Those
I don't
those are
know.
those are heartwarming. I
There you go.
oh, so good, so good, and
Yeah,
needed.
yeah. So that was yeah. So we have one piece of news, literally one completely, because apparently only one thing happened on television in the last week, and it has to do with the movies. So, like, I wasn't interested.
Yeah. Didn't watch. Had no idea until much later that this even happened.
I honestly didn't. I don't know when Oscar season is. I guess it's now.
I don't think, like, to be fair, like, and 100% truthful, I don't think I saw one movie nominated for Best Picture. Not one.
Hmm,
I didn't see this. I don't think Spider Man was nominated, but I didn't see
no,
that one either.
no.
I didn't see it. Like again, I think what's the only like I can't think of like I had to watch so many goddamn television shows. Like I had to watch, you know, two episodes of or one episode of How I Met Your Father. Not to just took away any interest I had in watching
Oh,
the movie.
jeez. We'll get into that.
Hmm.
That was rough. But yeah. Also, yeah, I think I've watched less than three movies that have come out in this year. And part of that is due to like my movie theater keeps closing, so you can't really do much about that.
Mm-mm.
And I've only seen one movie in theaters this year.
Me too. What
And
have you seen?
you're
What have you
still
seen?
young.
What
I
have you?
I saw in it wasn't even this year, I
Yeah.
guess.
Hmm.
But in the last year, the only movie I've seen is Spider-Man.
So, yeah, since the whole COVID thing started, I've seen one movie in the theater, and that was that last James Bond movie. That's it.
Mm, yeah, but so yes, some Oscars happened. Some movies were recognized for their, I guess, greatness.
I
I guess we
doubt
should
it.
watch them.
Hmm.
And yes, it's also it's popularity and critical like acclaim and all of these things that aren't necessarily put to the overall enjoyment and don't count whether or not you like the movie or not. So
That's true.
that's all that matters in the end.
Hmm.
Uh, except for one thing, I
Sure.
guess.
Hmm.
Um, the most important moment of the entire Oscars and the thing you should have tuned in to watch is Lin Manuel Miranda failed to get his EGOT. No, we should talk
Sons
about
of fucking bitches.
no, but also he wasn't there, so it would have been very funny if he won and he was not there to receive it. And what a prestigious award! But no, we should talk about Will Smith and the slap, um, which is again the only reason I knew the Oscars was on.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I've been watching Bel Air.
Mm,
So for the last three episodes, Will Smith has basically been slapping all of us in the face because this show had so much promise, and it's all been, you know, there's no joy. This this has become a show without joy, and it's really starting to aggravate me. Although, of course, I am going to watch it because I'm not gonna, all of a sudden if it starts getting good, like if they decide, oh, we don't need six concurrent things happening and in 1 hour and trying to do service to every single one of them. Like honestly, that's what's going on. Six different goddamn storylines at once. It's
Hmm.
like it's called, well, it's called Bel Air, so I guess it isn't just about the Fresh Prince anymore. But like they touch on that, then they touch on the little sister, then they touch on the older sister, and then they touch on what's happening with Aunt Viv, and then they talk about Uncle Phil, and everybody's got a storyline going at one time. There isn't like a and oh, of course, and then uh, there it's gotten to the point where there's only one look on anybody's face, and it's just like everybody is sad or angry. Like where's the joy? It's a television show. Like I get
when
it.
did
There has to be dramatic parts. There has to be drama. Sure. But when it's all this all the time, holy fucking shit, how can you fucking put up with this stuff? I'd go mental. How could you write it? I
and
don't know.
yeah, like
Anyways,
if
that's why I feel Chris Rock got off easy because he probably hasn't seen the show the last few weeks.
yeah, and
I take a
if you
slap for
want
that.
that, I like from what you're saying, like I don't disagree with people who want that, but if they
Mhm.
want that, Euphoria is right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, like everything you described, I was trying to think like Fresh Prince of Euphoria, or like I was also yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Well, yeah, every single one of them could go over to the banks, this place, and fit right in.
Hmm.
Everybody's, sad. There's Vicodin addicts for some reason. They're all addicted to Vicodin. Vicodin? Come on. Lame. Fucking
I know
lame. Who
that
fucking
that's
snorts Vicodin? Like, oh, I got a big lacrosse match, guys. Time to fucking do a few rails of Vicodin. Oh my god.
I
Whatever.
yeah, it's
Not gonna stop watching because I'm not gonna have just in case it gets good. I don't want to catch up again. An hour at a time is fine. When it's like if I had to watch like 3 hours at a time of this thing to catch up, holy shit,
mm,
that'd be so sad.
I yeah, and that's a thing I tend to do. And once we get into the main topic in a little bit, I do like kind of tend to do that with a lot of television shows. I like let them breathe because I hate getting attached to a show and it ending, which is why like I won't watch a show that airs on Fox until it has two seasons,
Right?
because
You just
like
never know.
yeah, you never know if it's going to be one and done, or if and it could end super abruptly after 8 episodes, and then you're like what just happened?
Or they could rip something from you that you had invested 4 or 5 seasons in it for no reason, get rid of it. Like The Last Man on Earth, one of the best
Mm.
sitcoms of the last 10 years. Makes me so sad.
and and yeah, just ending thing. And these days we do end up with quite a few shows that find new homes on other networks, and at least we have started to enter an age where a network dropping a show is not necessarily the end, because other networks are willing to pay for it, and even more importantly, the original network is willing to let go of an IP they're not going to be using.
Yeah.
And you know because someone wrote the right amount of money down on a piece of paper, and that opened the floodgates, because once it happens once, the market demands it essentially.
Yeah, they still didn't bring back the Last Man on Earth, but that's fine. Yeah, I could. Yeah, you never know with some, but you know, whatever. I'm still. You know what? I am still angry about that. Like, how long has it been since the Last Man on Earth has gone off the air? Has it been 2.5 years, 3 years?
I
I'm
I
mad all the
actually
time.
can't remember. That's one show, like I was watching it every week as it aired, and then like
Yeah.
didn't have television for a while, like cable, and so I stopped watching it, and then kind of fell off and never ended up going back, but always
So,
intended to, because that
so what
show
I'm
is
hearing,
so
what I'm
funny.
hearing is that this is your fault.
Yes. But
This is your
what
fault.
you're also hearing is what you're also hearing is that when you win our Survivor draft, you can force
Ooh.
us all to watch Last Man on
That's what I was planning on doing.
Earth.
'Cause, it, well, it also depended if you guys were very nice and gracious. That's what you got. If you guys were not, I had something much worse. I
Ah,
had
we
something
should
much
we
worse.
should actually like plan that for like maybe episode 1 when we come back in season 2 to all have our picks of what shows we're gonna force everyone to watch. Well, or at least we can have Dustin back at some point and you know do a recap and then talk about that. Which I guess we can get into that a little bit
Yeah,
if
sure.
you want to talk about what happened. Uh,
Well, what happened was this past episode, Daniel got himself into a bit of trouble by trying to play both sides and ended up blowing his entire game up. Thankfully for someone's survivor pool, he did it at a point where he couldn't be voted out, but he couldn't vote either. Uh, so far in Survivor Land, we were 100% correct about the two people who were going to go home first. The cast odds we gave to the audience.
mhm.
Since then, we've had two of Dustin's players go home. So what I'm thinking is, by the time Dustin comes back, he might not have anybody left. So
So we should definitely have him on soon.
yes, so we, by the time Dustin gets back, we should have that the punishment or punishment ready to go, so he can get a head start on this thing because things aren't looking too well for him. Now, did you actually watch the episode this week?
I did not. I have literally picked 4 random blind people and I've not paid attention at all, and I'm doing pretty
Yeah,
good.
you know what, you're doing fine. Yeah, we got some of the so-called experts here, no experts, the people that have actually watched this fucking show. One of which knew quite a bit and stuff like that. It's just the way things bounce. Like that's what I was saying. Like when I went to do this, I didn't do any real research into anybody. Like you can't. It's not gonna matter. The person that I thought that Jackson would have been out like third or something like that. What do you want this guy in here? And he is looking one of the strongest players I've ever seen on Survivor. But we're only in the, what would this be out there? The third week? Is that right? They've been out there for, or the third, this is the third episode, but one was a double. One went home by themselves. So
Three votes.
yeah, three votes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just taking a look here. Survivor. Uh, Gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of the lady that went home on the last episode. But she was put in a tough spot.
Uh,
There was it's another thing of all these goddamn advantages being played and stuff like that, and throwing Jenny. Thanks. She she wasn't one of the Canadians, though, right? I can't remember.
no.
I'm just gonna come on for this part.
Sure. Was she one of the Canadian ones? I can
No,
never
no,
remember
she
them.
wasn't one of the. No, the Canadians are Marianne, Omar, and
Oh,
Chanel.
right. Okay.
Chanel, who made all this tribal council, one of the worst decisions in the history of Survivor. Like, what a terrible tribal council performance.
One of these fools picked her first. That's all I can say. One of
She
these
was
damn fools.
she was the number 2 draft pick.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was number 3 draft pick, and Snarky, you have her.
Yes, I know. Oh, I know.
But Daniel, it was the crazy...
None of my guys are doing good.
Well, no, they're not. Because
No.
Daniel, I'm going to try to explain to you how this, and for the audience, what happened at this tribal council. Okay. Well, first of all,
but what I'm seeing is I seem to have very few people in this dysfunctional ass tribe.
well, okay. So here's what it was. So you remember last week when I explained to you how the idols worked this season, where they had like to say secret phrases? And stuff?
Yes.
So
And I actually saw a promo of it at some point that like somebody heard someone using the phrase, and so
Yes.
yeah.
Mike, your guy, has it. One of the others. But not all three phrases have been said yet. So until all three phrases are said, Mike is not allowed to vote. He has lost his ability to cast a vote at tribal council. Now, one of the their tribe loses in one of the most epic blowouts of all time due to inclement weather and just like erupting tidal waves. Two of the three tribes are unable to complete the ocean part of the challenge.
This is just a big wind up so he can talk about the guy that he picked that won the thing all by himself.
Jonathan, the monster that everyone laughed at me for picking on my draft board, puts all of his tribe members and this like massive ladder literally on his back and just carries them through these like massive waves that are just drowning the other contestants. Like there are points where like someone is trying to swim one way and the water, you'll see they go, and the water comes and they're back into the left like 15 feet. It's insane how bad it was. But Jonathan, just like nothing, is just walking out. So they're trying... So their tribe finishes while everyone else is still in the water.
He literally works on a beach.
Yeah. Well, it's also, he is like just a massive man.
This guy is like is Aquaman if really Aquaman was worth anything.
Okay, we're not going to start that. We're not going to start that fight, Snark. But anyway, so push comes to shove.
Would it really be a fight with Aquaman involved?
It wouldn't. Mike's team loses. The Green Tribe loses, and they're going to have to go to tribal council. But before they go, two people, one person from the Green Tribe and one person from the winning tribe, get to go to a special island where they can win secret powers.
Ridiculous.
Where essentially they have a prisoner's dilemma where you can either risk your vote or keep your vote safe. If both people keep their vote safe, nothing happens. If someone risks their vote and the other person keeps their vote safe, then the person who risked it gets an extra vote. Yeah. But if they both risk their vote, then they both
lose it. God damn
it. Now, Chanel is in an alliance with Mike and two other people against Lydia and Hai. So Mike can't vote. So in theory, it should be a 3-2 vote. But Chanel goes to this island and says, I cannot lose my vote, so I will not be risking it. And then she gets there and is like, I'm going to risk my vote. And then the other guy, Omar, he also risks his vote. So now Chanel also doesn't have a vote. So suddenly, this majority alliance is a 2-2 versus the minority. So what happens is they freak out the people on the bottom. So they all end up voting for the same person instead of voting for separate people to like diversify their votes in case an idol gets played. So it's 2 votes on Jenny, 2 votes on Lydia. Tie, revote, but Mike and Chanel still don't have votes, and Jenny and Lydia can't vote. So only Daniel and Hai can vote.
Yeah.
So they tie again, and then it's essentially now, if you're deadlocked, if you can't come to a consensus, the people who have been voted for are immune, and everyone else draws rocks out of a bag, and the person who gets the oddly colored rock goes home. I believe Kate Mulligan This happened to Kate Mulligan in our Survivor simulation we did last year. And Daniel is like, first of all, I'm not going to Rocks, so you should change your vote. And then just starts throwing everyone in his alliance under the bus and is like, this wasn't me. Chanel, you wanted me to do this. Chanel, this is all your fault. It's like
insanity.
Bitch, I don't have a vote. What are you talking about?
I mean, to be fair, he's right.
Who's the dum-dum that picked that guy?
Also you.
God damn it.
But Hai just says, I'm not changing my vote. And Mike and Chanel, they don't have votes. So he's only got to get Daniel, who is this like really paranoid guy, to say, I will vote out Jenny.
Yeah. I don't want to go to Rocks.
I don't want to pull a rock on day 7. And it's like, but what he does is he, during the time, rather than just saying, okay, I'm sorry, Jenny, I'm not going to Rocks, he's like, fuck you, Chanel. You're the worst. This is all your fault. Mike, you also suck. And it's like, how did you go from being everyone's friend in the tribe to everyone hating you now? Because you just voted for Hai and Lydia, so they're not going to want to work with you. Chanel and Mike are mad at you for flipping now. You went from, because at the beginning of the episode, we were told by Daniel, everybody loves me. I'm in the middle. People are a fan of me. And now nobody likes him.
The worst. The fucking worst thing I've seen in years on this show. How can you do it? And this early? That early?
Yeah. And all because Chanel risked her vote when she knew she couldn't afford to lose it.
You can't lose your vote.
Yeah, so it is her fault.
You get an extra vote. Why would she need?
But like the moment you say that, but then like flip on the revote. Flip on the revote, Daniel. Don't pretend.
I guess that's fair.
And then also don't say loudly before you flipped your vote to vote out Jenny, hey, you people who I came here working with, I hate you and you're the worst.
Well, he was also pretending to work. To be fair, he was also pretending to work with the other guys. But as soon
as
he
just voted for Lydia,
the name goes down. You know that everything was fucked again, anyways. Like,
the right thing is you vote for Hai the second time around.
You can
after the tie.
No, you can only vote for people who are
okay. I see. So you do it the first time, even. Just
that's what they should have. They should have had what they because if they had both. They were kind of screwed coming in. The original plan was to get Lydia to vote for Jenny and Hai to vote for Mike. And then the other people who had votes were all going to vote for Lydia. And then they would just win the day, even if Chanel didn't have her vote. Yeah. But Hai got spooked. So he also voted for Jenny.
Yeah.
And fucking that man, balls of steel. He almost fucked it all up, but he did it.
Might not matter where shit, but but he did.
Who's got Hai?
I've got Hai.
You're Hai?
I've got Hai. Hai was the person I picked instead of Zach, and Dustin called me dumb. And Zach was the first pick. And Hai just fucking big brained this all.
Excellent.
Well, let's see. They're in a mess. I'm trying to think of any clear path I have to win this thing, and I cannot figure out one way. I can't figure out that move. Fuck me for the entire thing.
Well, here's the thing.
I can't think of a way.
You've got Chanel, Lydia, and Daniel,
and Rox
Roy. There's probably only 2 more votes before the merge. So you can't lose everyone pre-merge, and after the merge, it's anybody's game.
I don't think it's Rockroy because I think his tribe is keeping him until they see Aquaman there, and then it's like, oh, we don't need rocks.
No, his tribe's got to keep. No, his tribe's got to keep Rockstar around, because what are Drea and Swati gonna do against Jonathan? Nothing.
Yep. I don't know what Rockstar's going to do against Jonathan.
But you can't lose him. When Mike, the oldest person by nearly 20 years, is the Soul, minus Roxroy and Dre, actually, they're also in their 40s. But when Mike is the second most athletic person out there next to Jonathan, who is nearly 30 years younger than him, there's an issue.
Hey, I didn't pick the retired firefighter for nothing.
He's like, great.
I knew, like, I saw firefighter and I was just like, that's better than bodybuilder. I was just like, if you think about it, if I need to move a fridge, am I calling my bodybuilder friend or a firefighter friend?
That's
you know
true.
what I'm
or
just
a
upset
construction worker friend.
It's How like... is nobody else a strong swimmer? There are no strong swimmers there.
I don't even. My God, you look at those waves though, and then like they've talked about how so during this challenge when they were in the water, they had to like carry a ladder also, and this was like a 12-foot ladder that past survivors have complained about being like, this thing is fucking heavy, even when it's not in the water. And again, when, no offense to Roxroy, but when Dad Bod Roxroy is your strong guy out there, like it's not about swimming, it's just about the weight of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What, yeah, you don't think the stay-at-home dad is athletic enough?
How dare you?
You know what's actually funny? I'm looking at the draft board right now, and you've got Roxroy and you've got Mike. If we flipped them, you guys would have just drafted pretty much entire tribes to yourself. Because Daniel's got Drea, Tori, and Swati, who are all on the blue tribe. And then he's got Mike, who's on green. And then Snark's got Chanel, Lydia, and Daniel. And then Roxroy, who are all on green, minus Rox, who's on blue. You just flip those two. Anyway, that's been my survivor.
Basically, I want that tribe to be voting a lot, and it's especially if you're telling me that Mike is the second most athletic person, they probably want to keep him around.
Yeah, and he's got an idol, so you know anything can happen.
And guys, so I'm hoping that.
I think not only does Daniel lose this next thing and they kick him out, I think they try and chop him up and eat him.
My God. For a second, I thought you were talking about our Daniel, and I was like, oh my God.
If he doesn't watch it.
That's true. That maybe that's what we'll do. The book report will just be like Survivor Fiji.
That's fine.
Anyway, that's been my Survivor rant. I'll go back to my cave now. Goodbye.
Get out of here.
All right.
You gone?
Oh God. Should we go on?
Speaking of good news, why don't we talk about the good news?
Let's continue with some good news before some bad news.
Oh, no. I was just kidding. There is no good news. I was going to talk about you are still watching a show that you were holding your breath and waiting for so patiently throughout.
That's what I was about to bring up. Yep.
2 or 3 years without your favorite show, and then the anticipation of this show to come, and then it airing in America first, and finally it's here in Canada, and it lays a huge turd. But you've continued to watch. Has it got any better?
Absolutely fucking not. sorry. That's our one F-bomb. We're a PG show.
You should watch your mouth. You should watch your potty mouth.
Yes. When you say a year or two, it's a little more like 8.
When you get this age, it all just blends together. Who gives a shit?
I know, but like, especially because it aired for 9 seasons, that's almost the entire runtime of the show. And I mean, I cannot believe how bad this show is. And again, with like some actually good people involved, I get so upset every time I keep watching it, and I don't know why I keep watching it and torturing myself, but I'll probably end up watching all freaking 10 fucking episodes.
At least they're only half an hour. You don't have to watch an hour-long show that you hate.
But what if I told you that they're gonna bring back old characters and ruin the original show on top of it, because Kobe Smulders Robin
What?
is in an episode. She's not
Oh,
there yet. I read a review about it because
oh
it's
boy, you
all
jumped,
aired in
jumped the
America
gun,
at this point,
right?
I believe.
It's too late for Dan. You know
I
what? It's too late
but
for Dan.
they've already hurt me, Dave. That's the issue.
Mm.
Um and and honestly, that is reading about that, and I had watched. I think I tried the third episode as well, and I was just like, this show is still fucking terrible. But then, yeah, I read that, and I was just like, shit, I'm gonna have to watch them all because I need to watch what they do to Robin.
Oh no! And what
I
was the name?
know.
Is she at least going to be like the mall girl or whatever? Like the singer? What was her name from the Canadian singer? She was. That was basically
Robin
Alanis,
Sparkles,
Robin Sparkles.
but no, because the present of that show is 2020, I believe.
Right.
And so it is the Robin of, when does the show end? I believe Barney and Robin get married in 2018. Don't
Right.
specifically quote me on that.
I'm
And then
quoting you.
as they flash forward in time in those last few episodes, they would have broken up about a year and a half in, I think it was. And so it would have been a Robin who has just broken up with Barney and like is still another 10 years away from getting together with Ted. And I don't know, she gives some speech to Hilary Duff's character about like, yeah, the
Oh,
walk of life and all of this
oh
shit.
no.
And
Oh,
yeah,
that's awful. So, did you ever watch? What was that the Lizzie McGuire show? Was that her show, Hillary Duff? Did you ever
it
watch that
was,
show when
yeah.
you were growing up?
I definitely did. I cannot remember anything about it. It's one of those generic, family of people sitcoms.
Quick question: was Hillary Duff ever good at acting?
I mean,
Because
I
she's
don't
fucking terrible on
specifically
this
know.
show.
She is. It's
And that one episode of Community she was on, I was like, oof, this is Hillary Duff. She's famous. Was she more
and
famous for the singing maybe? So I remember she had
I
like
I think
records out.
so. Like
Yeah, yeah.
she's a
So
Disney
she's a
kid.
she's
I
a
I know that.
singer slash actress, and not the other way
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
Okay,
Something like that.
all right.
Um
So what are
Speaking
so
of
have they
Disney
like?
kids.
Oh my god. I was sorry. I was just gonna ask. Like, is there a lot more stuff going on in the apartment now? Like have they just kept up with that apartment with the oh they even kept the swords and stuff from that
Oh,
apartment
I mean,
Ted's apartment. Have they made the apartment
oh,
is it a character now?
that doesn't make any sense. Maybe is that supposed to be a freaking thing as well? Oh man. Okay.
The blue
If
trumpet I
the
think was there, right?
Yeah, if the apartment still exists by the season when no, I don't think they still have the apartment at that point. But yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
no, she gets together with Ted in 2030. That's when he's telling his kids about it.
The
I
timelines
do
are all
know
screwed
that.
up.
The time jump is
Oh,
2030.
I've got it. I got something for you. Maybe they're gonna make it so How I Met Your Mother is part of the MCU, and that this is just a separate timeline, and that Colby Smothers is in both Shield and Robin Sparkles.
That would be excellent. And if you told me that Mariah Hill was actually Robin Sparkles and was a
Right?
pop star in Canada, I'd
Yeah,
believe it.
just like Alanis.
Also, if you were a famous pop star in Canada, you're basically unknown enough to become a spy. so like nobody would recognize you anyway. There are like 8 people in Canada,
How dare you?
and 3 of them work on this show.
It's accurate though. Yeah, we all have universal health care because it's just the 8 of us.
Yeah, just
There's
one.
one box of band-aids. We just keep replacing it.
Yeah, not a lot to not a lot of things to like break when you're just 8 people. Like,
Well, I tell you, here's a true story. I was at an emergency room once, and I had the doctor call me a fucking klutz because that was the 4th time that year that she'd seen me for breaking toes. I went through like 5 year span where I broke like 8 toes. Also, my foot and a high ankle sprain just by stepping off my front step. So things get broken in Canada for no goddamn good reason. I can tell you that.
yeah, I like similar tangent. I broke this arm as a child.
How could you?
Wait a second. Not one of these measly ass bones that everybody breaks or anything in the wrist. I broke this bone clean in 2. Uh
Oh,
the
were you
the
all? Was it all
doctor
flopping around like a pendulum? Bloop, 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 bloop.
no, because like and my elbow did like pop out as well. But like
What were you
when I
doing?
picked up my arm, I had no feeling in it. I was wrestling. And
I was gonna say
I
you were playing like Nintendo or something, just tried a real tricky move. And
no, we were wrestling in the snow and just like throwing each other into snowbanks and shit. And this one that I was thrown into just happened to not be a snowbank, but like an
an
ice
anvil.
bank.
It was an
It was
anvil.
like, yeah, it was too close to the street. And so the snow clearing had tossed a bunch of snow into that park that we were playing in. And when you disturb snow, it freezes.
How fucking dare you, Dave? How dare you? This is this man's
Yeah,
life you're talking about in his hands.
so I got power bombed into an ice bank
Like a
and I
glacier.
landed.
You got power bombed into the
Yeah,
side of it. Like there's been 2 things that have been sunk by glaciers: the Titanic and you.
yes. And yeah, when the doctor saw it, he told me like that was one of the most impressive breaks he'd ever seen. Like he had never dealt with someone who broke that bone completely in 2. And I was just like, wow, I'm
Well,
8. Don't tell me that.
I am grossed out.
Then he told me my arm would never be the same again. And I was like, thank you very much. Again, I'm 8.
Is the one
Please.
arm like is the one arm like longer now? This is why we never see
Yeah,
your arm
it's like permanently
like this.
bent. It and yeah, it's a little bit of an angle. It's mostly fine, but it is permanently bent. Yeah.
Gross. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yep. I
And he's from
also
Ottawa. No good wrestlers from Ottawa.
I'm from Quebec.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
I mean, it's it's known for a couple of guys.
Like Mad Dog Vachon. Mad Dog Vachon was a good one, eh?
Mm.
So how
And
I
yeah,
met your father.
I think Quebec has made more guys than it's produced. I might be able to say that, but
That's just science.
yeah,
Science.
there's
Listen,
there's
this
there's a
isn't the
couple of
science show. This is the TV show.
yeah. Speaking of power bombs into
Oh,
giant ice banks, that's what we should do with this show, but apparently not because it's going to get at least 2 more 10-episode runs.
what?
Yeah,
They
there's that.
they're giving it 3 seasons worth already for this.
Yeah, there were like 10
People were watch.
episodes was not enough. We're gonna get 20 more.
People have been watching it, like for real.
Apparently, I
You,
let's just
you
say I
sure it isn't
can't
one of
see
the?
the appeal.
It is. I wonder if it's like
Ouch.
they finished watching a show and then fell asleep or whatever, and then this is the show that starts automatically after. It's like you know
Yeah,
It's like,
that
oh, we
does
recommend
seem
this show for you
just
to
about
watch.
right.
How dare you? Oh my God. So has Samantha had any more weird conversations with her kids or whatever, drunken conversations with her kids about hooking up with their father?
Oh, absolutely. I
Gross.
mean, it's it's real bad. And like there was one particular instant of it that I was just like, that was fucking awful. And you know what? The worst part is that they keep like basically, if you picture it as like a tennis serve, they keep tossing the ball in the air perfectly. Perfect How I Met Your Mother bit. And then
Mhm.
completely missing, tossing the racket across the court and hitting the opponent in the face with it. Like that's how I feel every second of the show.
That is
Uh
classic.
they they go to the rooftop and then uh like she brings her date up there and he just looks around. He's like, "Oh, this is really nice. You should have the party up here." And also, she brings her new date to a party the very next night after meeting them, and it's literally the exact same thing that Ted and Robin do after they go on their first date. And he's like, "I need to see her again." And so he invents a party the very next night because that's when she's free.
I thought it would
It's
be
just
like a
like,
Halloween party or something like that. When have what was who was it? Jennifer Love Hewitt, was that what was the name of the girl or whatever that had the costume on at the Halloween party?
the slutty pumpkin.
That's it,
Yeah,
the slutty pumpkin.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
doing that one for sure too.
And yes, it was
Maybe they'll
exactly
do the
that.
chase. They'll do
It
the
was
chase.
literally a costume party because Hilary Duff's character is turning 30. I literally haven't even learned anyone's names. It's just like the
Daniel, it's
stepsister.
not worth it.
Yeah, it's the stepsister, the Uber driver, the bar owner, the married guy who's also the same
And
guy
Lizzie
as the bar
McGuire.
owner, the
What?
bartender.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
All right.
that's about all I have to say. They keep ruining everything about one of my favorite shows. It's like the worst part is like I absolutely want and think it's about time for a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, and I don't think even if they brought back, they don't have them. They're dead and buried, these sets. But even if they brought back the exact sets from that show, they couldn't destroy it as much as they're doing this. Like I I cannot believe what's happening half the time.
Yeah. They would have more common sense at least to not, put it in the same universe where everybody actually like everything happens around the same house or the same apartment. It's like no, 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 no. How would they do it? Oh my god! Why would they put it in the same universe? Why wouldn't they just start another whole thing? So bad. Now they have to force so much. They have to force so much shit. So have they done any legendary jokes yet?
Oh
Do you know
my
that stuff?
god. I haven't caught one. I
Hmm.
guess it hasn't happened yet,
Wait for it.
but
That was the joke.
the
Wait.
second it does, I will throw my fucking tablet across the room for sure.
Goodness gracious.
I'll just be like, ah, man. So, have we been watching anything else? Our Flag Means Death has just ended its first season.
So good.
I actually did not get all the way through the finale. I was watching it earlier this evening,
Okay.
and very fun.
That second and last episode, what happens to the admiral? Again,
Yeah.
another huge belly laugh. That's two episodes of this show where I have laughed as hard as I've laughed at any television show in a long, long time. Yeah, the part with the with Will Arnett on the boat. And then the part, the part with the admiral who's finally gonna get him. Oh, so good! It was so good.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. This is not a spoiler, but our flag means death. But that last episode, um, I'm not sure how far you've made it, but it's
I got most of the way through it. Um, one of my favorite things, speaking of like the second to last episode,
mhm,
is like Blackbeard just being so content with his new situation
yes.
was one of the funniest things ever. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I guess this is just my life now. I'll just do this for a while until I get bored."
Edward. Edward.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm so glad we watched that show. Like, and yeah, like at least that's the show. Like when we knew when the commercials were starting, I was like, this show's gonna be good. And yeah, it for me it did not disappoint at all. And can't wait for the second season to start up. Oh, I mean, there is no second season after what happened. That's got to be it.
Oh yeah.
Well, you'll have to watch. You'll have to watch and
I
find
yeah,
out.
I actually haven't finished the last episode, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. Oof. What happened? Oof. My God. Like, how do you get a grizzly bear on the high seas? But they found a way, and it made sense. Poor
I
bastards.
mean, that's about the only thing I can think of that they'd get to be able to take down Blackbeard or Steed for that matter, because he
Yeah.
seems pretty much unkillable at this point.
No fucking shit. Like, oh my God, that thing with the admiral, so good. It's so
He's
good.
he's got like that archer fucking aura that like
Yeah. The,
everything
if
goes wrong
Archer,
around him, but
yeah,
he is impossible to kill.
if Archer was a gentleman pirate, I think that would be pretty close. Pretty
Yeah, yeah.
close. Uh, so another show I've been watching is Winning Time. I don't know if
Hmm.
you've started watching this at all, but it's Adam McKay doing the history of Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers, starting with when Dr. Buss buys the team and all the shit he had to go through with that. And it's all based on true stories. Of course, a bunch of it has been, embellished, I think, for lack of a better word, but really great performances. The style that it's done in, like it looks like Boogie Nights, but like if Boogie Nights was a full on just comedy, it is.
Hmm.
It's this is like the show I look forward to every week. I was looking forward to this as it was going on, even more so than Our Flag Means Death, which I loved. But when I had the choice of what'll I watch first, Winning Time or Our Flag Means Death, it was Winning Time for sure. It is really good. The guy playing Magic Johnson, so good. John C. Riley as Jerry Buss, so good. Sally Field as his mom. Sally Field is amazing in this show. But the problem with it is that she just isn't in enough. We need more Sally Field. And as Phil Westfall, your little buddy Jason Segel has just come onto the
Oh,
show in this latest episode. So I highly suggest over the next, what do we have, a couple weeks before our next show, try and get at least one of these episodes into you.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's funny. It's based on true shit, so it's interesting like that. You don't have to like sports. It's just a part of the deal. They don't go huge into it. This last
yeah.
episode, a little more X and O's and trying to show how things work a little bit. But that's it. Like it is not a sports show. It is a character driven show for sure.
The funniest thing I've always found about that is whenever I'm watching a sports show that like at first I start watching one because probably an actor or a recommendation from somebody, but because I don't watch basically any sport except for hockey. So it's to watch a show about a sport that I don't even understand the rules of in many cases
Yeah.
is so confusing. And then about a season in, I'm literally sitting there going like, I still know nothing more about this sport. I think there was about 3 minutes of it in the entire. Well, there's about 3 minutes of football in the entire game of football, but still,
That doesn't make any
that's
sense.
I. They just run the clock. They just run the clock even when they blow the whistle. It doesn't make any sense. You're right.
Oh, you're talking soccer. Soccer, they do that.
Oh
But
no,
yeah.
I meant actual football. Like
Oh my God.
there's like literally 3 minutes of game in an entire hour of game, and then all the commercial breaks that breaks it out to 2.5 hours to watch
The CFL, you have to have
nothing
a play every
happen.
20 seconds. Have a 20-second clock. A play every 20 seconds.
Yeah, and I don't know. It
But
just
you only got 2 plays, and then you have to punt if you don't make the 10 yards. But you have, 55, 110-yard field, and it's 35 yards
bah,
wide, and the ball's a
literally
little bit
all of that.
bigger.
That's about all I know about football is
An extra man on the field on both teams compared to the NFL. You know.
there used to be an extra man in hockey, and he used to basically kind of chill between the forwards and the defensemen. And that's a little history for some people who may not know that at all. And yeah,
Whenever
so
the
there was
Jets
just
play, the other team seems to have 3 extra guys. Sometimes 4.
and yeah, now when you try and sneak a fourth winger onto your ice, you get a penalty. And back then, it was just an entire position. And I
You're
wonder if
watching.
anyone's tried to make that argument before. It's just
You're
like, oh,
watching
it's just
Hockey
our.
Talk. Hockey Talk on the Northern Entertainment Group Network right here.
Oh no, let's not talk about hockey.
Yeah. No, this is what Dan has been playing this entire time. We're going to be
No,
a hockey and CFL show and curling.
I honestly would have a hockey show, but if we're going to talk about hockey, the owner of my hockey team just passed away, so
Sad
that's
news.
very sad. Yeah, he had
But
been like fighting some stuff for a while and had a like kidney transplant or liver transplant, one of liver transplant, like 7 years ago at this point, and so it, you know, shit like that happens all the time. You get more prone to both getting sick and sickness developing from the actual transplant itself. So, not really much to talk about. All of that's very private, but very,
here's one
very
thing:
interesting to see what's going to happen there for a while.
if the Melnick sell, the next guy's got to do better.
Yeah,
So
or
stick.
maybe they just
Maybe build another
finally,
arena, maybe inside Ottawa, at least
yeah,
closer than
that
Canada.
that would help. That would help.
Mhm. Nowhere close.
And I, yeah, so I will definitely be watching some freaking hockey on television in the very near future because I think the team is definitely going to respond to that. That's one of the coolest things about watching sports and following it is when something very human happens. There's a very human reaction that is like tangible, especially because people are so good at that level that really the insane win streaks happen from weird human emotion. It almost has nothing to do with the skill of the players in those cases. It's just whatever the hell ride they're riding at the time.
Yeah. Well, the
All right.
Senators beat the Jets last week, and they basically sunk any hope the Jets had of making the playoffs, if you ask me. So I won't be
Oh, fun
watching much
stuff. Fun
hockey
stuff.
come April. hmm What
So
else you
yeah,
got?
we didn't have hockey planned for April in
No,
6 months.
you didn't.
8 months.
That's
How
for
long is the season? When did the season start? About four
starting.
games in. That's when I
Yeah,
wrote off April.
basically October.
Oh, and
Not
yeah.
even
So
close.
our main topic is a little bit of April television news, some shows that I've never heard of before, but I started looking up trailers, and now I have to
Oh,
watch entire season ones before they come out.
oh shit.
But the first thing I have to talk about is this thing that I hope to God is an April Fool's joke, and if it's not, I really do not understand. It's a thing called Netflix. It's a thing on Netflix. It's called Trivia Quest. Have you heard of
Okay.
this?
I have not.
All right. Well, you shouldn't hear of this. Nobody
Oh,
should
good.
ever hear of this.
Well, looks like I'm winning now.
Uh, it claims to be uh basically a game
All right.
on Netflix
Mm-hmm.
that it's a series called Trivia Quest that will have its
Sure.
first episode on April 1st.
Ooh, right around the corner.
Yeah. And then the quiz is made for Netflix viewers only, allowing them to answer each question using their TV remote or smartphone.
Can I win fabulous prizes?
No, you just unlock dumb shit.
Oh my god. So that's what it looks like. Oh boy. Ugh.
Yeah. And yeah, it's also a dumb cartoon, and I don't
Ugh.
understand this has to be a joke because this is a show for absolutely nobody. Like
Isn't that
when I
wasn't
was
that an app? Wasn't that a like a phone app? That
it
looked like
was. It literally
okay.
says it's based on that.
Oh, all right. Okay. I think I've actually played that goddamn game before. Trivia Quest. I don't know. Trivia wasn't, it's pretty easy stuff. Now,
But
okay.
yes,
So they're
I
making a whole television show about this shit?
again,
Unbelievable.
the fact that it's episode 1 is supposed to air on April 1st could allude to it being a joke,
Oh
but
my gosh.
like
Oh boy.
why not put this trailer out on April 1st if it was in fact a joke? And so now I'm very worried that this might be an actual thing, and if people are that starved for trivia, they should just go watch the Schmodown, I
Yeah,
think.
there's a movie
But
trivia show that does pretty good. I've heard.
yeah, and this thing, like, the trivia is either too hard or the cartoon is too dumb. And the two combined make it a show for nobody, in my opinion.
Okay. Very
Because,
good.
wow. I might
Trivia
prefer to
Quest.
watch How I Met Your Father.
Oh, how dare
Yeah,
you?
that's
How dare you? All right. What
and
else we got coming?
but I would still rank it above like the ending of Lost.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, shut across the bow.
Go straight to hell, Daniel.
Shut
I will.
across
You.
the
That was your one. That was your one. You don't talk about Lost in my house. Okay. You don't do that. Okay. All right.
All
You
right,
be
I'll
He's
just
gonna
talk about
throw
the
us.
wild
He's
berries
gonna throw
then.
a spear at you. He's been making spears and he's gonna throw it at you.
All right, so that's I don't have anything else on April 1st. There's
Oh, good.
a bunch of different. I mean, there's literally so many things coming out every single day of the month. I don't have a date for it anymore. My smaller list doesn't seem to have it, but there's a documentary on Tony Hawk coming out that sounds very interesting.
Okay.
And
Is it like
it
a series? Like a series? A series
it sounds
documentary
like a
or like a
series.
movie documentary?
It sounded like a series, and is definitely like a TV documentary anyway. But
Okay.
it sounded like a series because of the way it was talking about like literally his entire career and like including like into his retirement and what like a career in a very extreme sport does to a person and all of that. And so it sounds really fun. really like I'm looking forward to watching this. One of the things I really hope is in there is there's a one is just his many different anecdotes about people who almost recognize him in public. And because he does have just like a sort of forgettable looking face.
Wow.
And so,
Hot takes
like,
on Tony Hawk.
literally, a person
Hot
like
takes.
once ran into him at an airport and like basically told him like you kind of look like that skateboarder guy, and then like walked away without ever realizing that that's the skateboarder guy, like not that the one.
Yeah, the only one.
And yeah, my favorite one though is he was trying to like fly across a country for whatever, like either leaving a competition or going to one, and he forgot to like check his skateboard and didn't make room for it in his luggage, and they were not letting him take it as a carry-on. And so he just like turned around and just handed a freaking brand new skateboard from one of his sponsors to like some kid who was like basically like he was walking this way and they were coming off like leaving the plane or just like walking past his line, and he was just like, here you go, here's a free skateboard. And then he just got on the plane because he had to make that flight and just had to go get a new skateboard.
And that kid turned out to be, I don't know,
I don't know.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
I wish I knew the name of like a skateboarder of like 10 years afterwards, but
I think that Tony Hawk and David Spade have some history too. That's what I remember.
mm,
I don't know if it was because of Police Academy 6 or whatever they were in. He was in. But I know that Spade was also a skateboarder, so I know he knows Tony Hawk from back in the day.
mhm.
But I was never big into skateboarding. Like, of course, I know the name Tony Hawk, and I know like the video game and stuff like that. Everyone likes Tony Hawk, and he's a good dude. The only thing I've ever seen him done is on Jackass, doing the 360 loop de loop
Yeah.
on his skateboard, which was fucking awesome.
That was really super cool too.
Yeah,
But yeah, and yeah, like I just kind of remember him more from the video games even, because
right.
as I was growing up, I was playing them a lot, and it was towards the ending of his career. My brother would know a lot more about him. He's like 6 years older than I am. And yeah, so I used to watch a ton of skateboarding videos, and I did skateboard a little bit, but I wasn't terribly good, and I never really got any better. So eventually, I stopped. But
Yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, used to watch a ton of different videos, played all of the games, until they literally changed the whole thing. Like, eventually, Tony Hawk games stopped coming out, and skate games started coming out, and they had an entire different like button mechanics, and
Yeah.
so it
They started being more like tutorial stuff and not as much fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
couldn't
all the
play as
EA
Shrek
hockey
anymore.
games and the football games and all this other stuff. I liked it when it was just fun. Now they want it like a simulation all the time. Like you have to do this. And this.
Mm,
Ugh, I just want to pass the puck and then shoot it, and then
yeah,
crack somebody against the boards or something.
to
Like,
be fair,
yeah,
I did actually like the hockey one when they eventually updated that, and now like your two analog sticks on the controller are like the player's two hands.
mm-hmm,
I I kind of like that because it makes you like have more control over the types of shots you get to take,
mm-hmm.
and that's fun. But it does take a good bit of getting used to. Because yes,
Yeah,
I also remember playing. I mean, to this day, if I had it, I would play NHL '97 because that game was so much fun.
yeah. Like I had like all the like the Sega Genesis and stuff like that, so I had like the first EA like EA. What was it? Was it just called NA? I think the first one was called NHL, and then there was like NHL PA or whatever was the '93 one. The first one had like the teams but no players, and then the
Mhm.
next one had like the players and no teams. Like the Islanders were just called Long Island, and everyone in New York, Winnipeg, blah blah blah. And then it was finally the year after that that they got together. I think it was NHL '94 that they finally got together. It's like, okay, and that's the one where you could like smash somebody and they would drop on the ice and you'd see a big pool of blood coming from their head and the body twitching on the ground. Funny every friggin' time, every single time. Especially if you do it to a guy after he scored or whatever, after the whistle went. So funny. So funny. So many
So
careers
yeah.
ruined.
Well, what else have we got this month? Oh, here's a show I'm absolutely not gonna watch,
Oh,
and
good.
little surprised that it exists, and
How I Met
also
Your Grandfather.
unsurprised. No, but kind of. The Hardy Boys.
Oh,
um,
hasn't that been on for a bit, or is this just the latest
this is
incantations
apparently
of?
like season 2 is just about to come out, so
Okay,
like has definitely existed, and
is this in the same vein as like the Archie show and the I see Nancy Drew as
yes,
a show? It's like, oh,
really,
is it all in the same like universe or whatever? Because I know that those guys would show up in the comics every once in a
yeah,
while.
and I think there's like a range, and I think Nancy Drew is. I actually have not seen Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys, but I believe
Until
Nancy
when I was
Drew
a
would
kid.
be the tamest, and then Hardy Boys is kind of between the two, and Riverdale is just a cursed mess that nobody
Wow,
should go near.
wow!
I mean,
You're gonna make
again,
Dave cry. That's one of his favorites.
while like the first season is pretty entertaining, the rest of it is just entirely awful.
Just
And
Moose beating the shit out of Reggie for looking at Midge every episode. That'd be funny.
yes, season 1 was the best trash show ever.
Does
And
is Hot Dog the dog there like Jughead's dog Hot Dog? Is he
like
there in the show?
I would say Euphoria is the best trash show ever, but it's good. It's a good show about trash.
Oof. Yeah, that'd be a tough watch for me.
And yeah,
Still better than
so
How I Met Your Father. Way better.
oh my god, don't even get me started again. This episode is already almost over.
Well,
um yeah, and so we've got season 2 of the Hardy Boys, we've got season 2 of iCarly on Paramount Plus.
the return
um
of iCarly. Great.
yes,
Didn't we do a whole show about this shit before? Bringing stuff
I
back. Ugh.
yeah, and I've definitely the I probably would have mentioned this in that show, except this is a continuation of the same IP.
Right.
It's
They're
actually
45
Miranda
years old.
Cosgrove. It's a bunch of people from the original series all returning as their characters,
They're
and
all divorced.
yeah, and I think by the end of iCarly, she's insanely rich, and so like when it cuts to this future show, like I guess I don't know what the concept is. Maybe they've run out of money, and so she starts live
Oh my
blogging
god.
again or whatever the hell. But
Is that what the show was about?
yeah, and essentially I think they're just trying to like capture Twitch being a big thing at the moment,
Oh,
and people enjoying watching streamers, but because iCarly is essentially a Twitch streamer
okay.
before Twitch was invented.
Yeah,
I
I know that the
I
kids
at one
watched it
point,
when they were young, but like that was
yeah,
fucking 10 years ago, right?
and at one point I actually went and looked it up, and iCarly comes out like a year or two before Twitch becomes a website that like is in the zeitgeist. And
Fucking Ben gets it. He knows what's going on.
Yes, they do so rarely work. And I have heard pretty good things about this show. I didn't watch enough of the original series and didn't really feel the need to go watch this one. And but I have heard that it's specifically like an adult version of the show. I
Bleh.
believe one of the characters is like full frontal nude on the first episode or some crazy shit. I've I've heard some wild things about this show, but yeah, it's just not really for me. That's all.
No fucking kidding. Ugh. All right.
So that's
What else we got?
April 8th. We also have Woke, which is a show I just found out about today, and it made me laugh a bunch. Let me
Okay.
go.
Is it a comedy?
It's it is a comedy,
Okay. So it's designed to make you laugh.
yes, with Lamorne Morris, Blake Anderson, uh, Rose McIver, who is the main character from iZombie,
Okay.
and also yeah. So Keith is an African American cartoonist on the verge of mainstream success when an unexpected event changes his life. And then when I was watching the second season trailer, it seems like he's fallen his way into being like a political activist, and he seems to have like a message that he wants to get across, and he's just very bad at it. And then, you know, bunch of hijinks ensue.
Wait.
Everybody keeps trying to inject their own ideas into his voice, and he just keeps like bumbling around. And yeah,
Oh, those
uh,
dirty hijinks.
trailer seemed very amusing. I like it's a Hulu series, so I'm gonna have to go
Oh,
try and figure out
I think
where the hell.
that'll be Disney Plus for us. That's Star, I believe. I think most of the Hulu shows come up on
Yeah,
Disney Plus the Star here. But again, following what usually happens with that, if it says it's coming out in April, it doesn't mean it might not come out here till June, July.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
at
you'll have to
least
keep your eyes peeled for it.
yeah.
It'll be on
And
season 2 or 3 by then.
worst case, yeah. If it takes a while, I can just watch the season one while I wait for two to come out.
You could watch How I Met Your Father again. Plenty of
No,
time.
I won't do that. There's another show that's coming out with a season two that I was looking at as well. It's
Mhm.
the Only Murders in the Building,
Oh, right. Yes, I've
which
heard so many people love this show, and I still haven't gotten a chance to see it. But maybe I'll get a chance to watch it this
honestly
fall.
I was literally surprised at the existence of this show.
Ow.
Like I didn't know a show existed with the Martins,
Hmm.
my favorite.
Hmm.
Steve Martin and Martin Short are so great in literally everything,
Yeah,
and they've been around long enough to be in literally everything.
well, that's
And
my childhood right there. Is watching Steve Martin and Martin Short and SCTV. Yeah, like The Jerk is still, I think, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. So
yeah,
I will always give. I'll always have time for them, but it seems like I haven't given enough time because I still haven't seen the goddamn show. But I hear that people really, really like this show.
and
It's a
then yeah,
Disney Plus here, I believe.
I literally didn't know anything about it until today when I was looking things up.
Hmm.
And
Another
yeah,
full frontal nude scene, probably.
and then
Martin,
Steve Martin?
yeah,
Nah, Martin Short.
hang and wang. That's what they're all
All
about.
right. We should put a poll up of who's hotter.
So I don't want to do that.
uh, we also have Better Call Saul is coming back this April.
Never seen
Um,
an episode. Never seen an episode of Breaking Bad.
I've I've watched quite a few episodes of Better Call Saul, and I watched all of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Um, I almost stopped watching it. There's quite a few characters in Breaking Bad that I had many different problems with.
Mm-hmm.
And so towards the end, it was just getting like repetitive on top of a bunch of characters I didn't care about. And then the last season was some of the most amazing television ever. So
Ooh.
it kind of sold to me right by the end of it.
Okay.
Literally still can't find the date for Only Murders. Better Call Saul is the 18th.
Again,
Ultraman.
that's a show I'll be watching much, much further in the future, as I still haven't watched the original show that it was based on.
Yes. So we have Ultraman. Do you know anything about Ultraman?
I do not.
It's a Netflix show.
Oh, June 28th. That's my mother's birthday. So what's
It's an
Ultraman
animated
about?
series.
Oh, good.
Oh. It's apparently there's more than one season of this. I didn't realize.
Ultraman. Is it an anime style show?
It does seem to be an anime style show as I look it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3D animation. It looks pretty interesting. Speaking of Disney Plus, us in Canada on Disney Plus and in America on Hulu, the Kardashians are back.
Fuck.
I was also about to bring up Barry in a second because that's let's actually talk about Barry now.
Sure. Yeah, I'd
That's a
rather
show
talk
that,
about that than the fucking Kardashians.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Again,
Get off your ass and work, she says. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, oh, I was, I had to make all the millions my family had first, and I had
they
to
got
get off my ass
bored.
and work. With a
They got
sex
bored
tape
of not
first.
being on television, so they're back on
Whatever.
television now.
Retard.
Congrats.
I can't stand it. Can't stand it.
There's more and or less of them. I can't remember.
Goddamn.
Pete Davidson's in it now. But yeah, so freaking Barry. Honestly, another show that just kind of like passed me in the night. I kind of, from what I've gleaned, it's Dexter becomes an actor. And I was just like, oh, sounds fun.
Yeah, basically. Well, it's a little bit different or whatever, but if you wanted to break it down to its brass tacks, it's pretty close to that. Now, I've only seen the first season. I haven't seen the second season, but again, it's just a matter of there has been so much, and I didn't have Crave for a long time. Crave is how you get it up here in the good old Great White North. But ever since I've got it back, for this show, there's just been other things that I've had to watch in the meantime. I've had no chance, even though they're only half-hour episodes. I really should get off my ass and watch it. But now that we know that season 3 is coming, I have to do it. I'm not going to get to that point again where I have to binge an entire season worth of shows just to catch up. So I don't want to have that happen for this third season and stuff. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to watch every episode of the second season. It's not like it's going to be, it's not like it's hard. It's not hard work. It's just watching a television show, right? So and one that you enjoy. So yeah, I'll watch all of Barry season 2 before we get to Barry season 3 here. And even if you haven't watched it, maybe I'll be our Barry season 3 correspondent. Maybe we'll find some people who want to talk about Barry at some point.
For those watching, that'll be April 24th. Barry comes out on HBO, so probably next day on HBO Max, and Crave in Canada. Maybe the next day, maybe a week later. Maybe at the end of the season.
No, wait. With a big thing like that, I wouldn't think so.
Oh shit! I kept scrolling. I'm in May now.
How dare you?
as I go back to the end of April, I see Ozark is coming back.
Still haven't seen that either. Goddamn. And then again, another show that I'd like to start watching, but there's been so much else started. Now I have to
Right?
catch up with 4 fucking seasons of it. God damn. But I'll watch it.
There's
And this is
I don't know what either of these are because like there's no descriptions or anything, but on 420 on April 20th on the CW at 8 p.m. you could watch Freddie Mercury the final act, or you could pop over to Showtime and watch Cypress Hill's Insane in the Membrane at
I'll
8
watch that.
p.m.
Like, didn't we just see, Bohemian Rhapsody? Didn't that just come out? Wasn't that, as true to the life stories you can possibly get? Just kidding.
Absolutely. I heard that that movie was 100% truth and honesty and did not have any sort of pushback from the family of the main character because they were heavily involved in the writing and producing of the film, and so got to kind of wash away some of the darker parts of it. But no, none of that happened in the Freddie Mercury movie, so we don't need to worry.
That's right. And I'll be watching Cypress Hill anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And
Catch from the
if
bone.
if I believe that about a movie, that doesn't matter because we are not a movie show, so don't
Yeah.
take any of our movie opinions seriously or literally.
If you guys like
But take
movies, you can go
all of our
straight to
TV
hell.
opinions seriously. Because when I say that How I Met Your Father is bad, I really mean it. I tried. I tried so much.
Yeah.
I've literally watched 4 episodes of this show almost unwillingly, but just
damn.
just with any
Just
flicker
think,
of hope, and it refuses.
you only have 20, at least 26 more episodes to go.
Yeah, there's only 26 more. It'll be fine.
Yeah, until they pick it up halfway through the next one. It's like, guys, we're doing 40. We're doing 40. Now you got 70 episodes of this to watch.
Oh man.
That's when
And
you
like,
start scrolling through newspapers and you find out that you died a couple weeks ago and that you've been living in hell because
yes,
you got
and
all you
that's
get are brand
when
new How I Met Your Father episodes.
and also that is when I would just be done.
Yeah,
I'd be
you're already
done.
dead. You already died.
Yeah,
Nothing you
yeah.
can do. You're gonna be
And
zero.
but before we do that,
Oh boy.
before we die and spend an eternity in hell watching How I Met Your Father, um, we should probably head out of here. And before we do that, we got to let the people know where to find us. So, where can they find you, Rab?
You can find me there at Snark Yeti. I do this show and this show alone. Except sometimes
That's
I'll show up
an
on.
absolute lie.
Oh my god, I'll show up on other friends' shows. I've shown up on Ben's show, and I've shown up on one of our friends that's from the Southern Hemisphere. I've done her show as well. Couple weeks off. What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do in a couple weeks off? You know what I'm gonna do is just catch up on shows. That's it. It's not like
Mm.
I just the time, and it's like, oh, I got 2 weeks. I got all this time. This time, 13 days from now, I'm like, shit, I gotta watch these shows. But Moon Knight, I believe, starts this week.
Yes,
So
it does.
that'll be fun. So we got Moon Knight to watch. They'll have a couple episodes of that to talk about by the time we get back. When we get back, it's my birthday. So I'll
Yep,
be
yep.
my 25th birthday. So that'll be very fun. Celebrate my 25th birthday with you guys.
You'll
And,
love 25.
oh, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
got the 25-year-old jaw right there. Um, So yeah, so I'll be doing that. I'm watching television. Jets suck, so watch them slowly circle the bowl of the NHL season, and that's it. Just waiting for more TV to talk about. Hopefully, you know what, and praying to God that Bel Air gets better. I'm praying to God. Like, come on,
Mm.
give me this. Give me. It started out so well. There's so much promise. Just do better.
And
God damn it. Anyways,
all
how
right.
about you?
And as well, just quickly, uh, you can also find our main channel here. If you guys could please like this video, subscribe to our channel if you aren't. You can also find our group on Twitter at Group of the North. We're the Northern Entertainment Group. You could search either of those into Twitter, and you're gonna get to our page. We're also on Facebook under Northern Entertainment Group, and you can find our many different hosts and many different shows all over the Twitter platform. I'm generally just retweeting our things or commenting on things from people in our little media space. But you can find those little likes and comments at Corrupted Canuck on Twitter. And as for me, I am praying to, I would say, I guess the devil that he strike lightning on the set of the apartment that they filmed How I Met Your Mother / How I Met Your Father at, so that they can't
He's
do
making
it
money off
anymore.
that show. He's making bank from that show. Who do you think's behind it? No way.
Ugh,
He's gonna keep it
ugh.
safe, protected and safe.
All right. So I believe the apartment's in New York. So I'm going to be taking a trip on.
Jesus Christ. Cameras rolling. The camera's still rolling.
But no, I I do hope that show ends very soon though, but it won't.
At least you're gonna be saddled in for 3 years at least, buddy.
Stop doing this to me.
Maybe they'll
I
start
mean,
doing
I'm doing it
two seasons a year. Maybe they'll start doing
again.
that. It's like, guys, we have
I am
decades.
doing it to myself by watching it, but it existing is doing it to me. So
That's true.
I guess it's shame on both of us, me
Yes.
and the
How
show.
dare you? How dare you guys? The
Yeah.
worst.
And how dare us all? How dare we take a week off? But in
Come
that,
back with a montage.
yes, we'll just cue up that montage that we have.
Then
Right. Don't.
Yeah, that first one will just say previously on Have you seen this? And it'll just be about me being a hero, and then
Oh, nice.
you crying about the How I Met Your Father.
And and then me getting fired repeatedly. Yes.
I like it.
And yep, that's about it for us. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the first season, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks, I believe. April 12th.
Well,
We'll be back. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
bye bye.